Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 21 of my TEW series. Now, today's episode is, of course, the big pay-per-view where angels fear to tread. Now, obviously, we've got two title matches. We've got the international title and obviously the world heavyweight title being defended tonight. You know, Mighty Mo taking on an interesting player, getting his rematch after losing the international title in Mark Speed. But of course, who knows what's really going to happen with that match because of the possible inclusion of Ed Stone. Of course, if you missed the previous episode, Ed Stone challenged Mighty Mo. They had a match and he challenged him to put the title on the line. Mighty Mo accepted, and then Mark Speed basically attacked Mighty Mo during the match, getting Ed Stone disqualified, thus putting, Mighty Mo against himself as the title match on the show here. Of course, in the other match, the big title match, you got Aaron Andrews taking on Sammy Back in a 30-minute match. It's going to be pretty good. I'm hoping we might actually get our best ever rating, to be honest. So, looking forward to that as well. And of course, we've got a few other storylines running as well. And a nice little surprise to start the show. Anyway, let's run the show. We start off with a 5-on-5. It's a big 10-man tag match, getting a 74B-. In a pre-show bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Troy Tornado, Killer Shark, Titan, Kirk Jamison, and Brent Hill defeated Guide, Human Arsenal, Daryl Devine, Chance Fortune, and Dazzling Dave Diamond in 10-10 when Troy Tornado defeated Triple D by pinfall with a Star Maker. A couple of work improvements here. We've got Guide improving in performance skills, Chance Fortune improving in performance skills, and then Killer Shark improving in both Rumble and performance skills. Moving on to the 8-man tag. Doesn't do as well, getting a 70C+. In a decent pre-show match, American Buffalo, Greg Gage, and the Canadian Animals defeated Giant Tanner, Matt Hocking, Mr. Lucha 3, and Bart Biggins in 9:55, when Ed Stone defeated Mr. Lucha 3 by pinfall with a party's over. Basically, Greg Gage literally came back one day ago, so he essentially would have been fit, but I feel like just having the tag match without any actual build-up using Greg Gage would have probably hampered the storyline a lot more. And I really like where we've sort of gone with the storyline between the New Wave and New Legacy. And apparently Bart Biggins sustained a hernia in this match. Anyway, we start the show off with a 44D. Not the best angle in the world, but I kind of knew this was going to happen. Anyway, the commentators put over the fact that a new women's division has been created here in TCW. And obviously they're going to kick things off with a fatal 4-way match, which will be featuring Tamara McFly, Lauren Easter, Sandra Shine, and Laura Flame. No worker improvements there. The actual angle itself was rated on Lauren Easter's entertainment skills because she obviously has the best out of those people there. The match itself does a bit better, 52D+. And about that had subpar wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Lauren Easter defeated Tamara McFly, Sandra Shine, and Laura Flame in 10:25 when Lauren Easter defeated Sandra Shine by submission with a figure 4 leg lock. And apparently Tamara McFly was off her game. However, she's also improving in technical skills, and we have Lauren Easter improving in Rumble skills there as well. Basically, the ratings are going to suck, probably for a while, because none of them are over. Some of them do have good wrestling ability. We also don't have Alicia Strong yet. I mentioned in the last episode that I was going to sign her. US Pro are not renewing her contract, which is the same sort of thing that happened with Lauren Easter. She was with North of the Border in Canada, but she's American. Anyway, moving on. We then go into an 82B. Of course, this is the rematch, the final rematch between Benny Benson and Wolf Hawkins. And honestly, it's a pretty good match. 1 point off a B+. In an exceptional match, Wolf Hawkins defeated Benny Benson in 1950 by pinfall with a full moon rising. And yeah, I think it's a good way to finish the storyline. Obviously, Wolf was going to go over. There was no sort of doubt, I assume, in anyone's mind. But the story behind this match is it went for almost 20 minutes, and Benny Benson was taking a lot of punishment, but he was also getting some of his own offense in, and he held off and resisted so many moves. Probably kicked out of a full moon rising as well. However, just wasn't enough, and obviously Wolf Hawkins is a very, very good wrestler. We then move into a 61C, where we have Mark Speed and Ed Stone backstage. Obviously, Ed Stone goes up to Mark and starts arguing with him, saying, "Why did you interfere in my match last week? You've essentially cost me a title. I could have beaten Mighty Mo." And basically you got him disqualified, so he retained the title. And yeah, Mark Speed doesn't take too kindly to what Ed's saying, and the two of them start to brawl with each other. Not a bad, that's both on overness as well, I think, for that angle. So 61C is not too bad. Now the match itself, Mighty Mo against Mark Speed gets a 75B-. And about that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Mighty Mo defeated Mark Speed in 9:33 by pinfall with a plunging spinebuster following interference from Ed Stone. Jesus. Mighty Mo makes defense number 2 of his TCW International title. As you can see, Mark Speed, his interference, it's essentially cost him his rematch clause against Mighty Mo. It's worth noting, really good in-ring performances from both of these guys. Only a 10-minute match as well. I was going to do 20, but this pay-per-view is, I think, only 2.5 hours long, as opposed to 3 hours. I might change that because I feel like the pay-per-views need to be 3 hours long for us to have the length of matches that we want to. And obviously, we've just added a women's division, so we're essentially going to have at least one women's match, I would say, on every pay-per-view at a minimum. So yeah. But yeah, 79 for Speed, and then a 77 for Mighty Mo, with no worker improvements. Defense number 2 for Mighty Mo. We then move into a 96 A-star angle. Basically a menace promo from Eddie Peake, and he's just saying that he wants Joshua Taylor to know that it's nothing personal, but he's just a step on Eddie Peake's way to the top, or the peak. It was meant to be the peak of the mountain. And yeah, their match is up next. Gets a 93A in 20 minutes. Wow. That's so good. I say that should have been the main event, but in theory, a 30-minute match between Andrews and Back, who are both more over than these two, should at least get a 95 A-star. Anyway, in an exceptional match, Eddie Peake defeated Joshua Taylor in 1956 by pinfall by using underhanded tactics. Cheated to win yet again. Eddie Peake doesn't really care what he has to do in order to, reach the peak of the mountain, the tippy top. A 93A, I think that might be our best ever match. I think it is. We also have worker improvements. Eddie Peake improving in technical and performance skills yet again. What can I say about Eddie Peake? He's a main event level guy. And honestly, at the start of the series, I was overlooking him. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was going to be a bit of an upper mid-card, not a jobber, but the type of guy that's going to get other people up into main event status. And so far, we're about to hit 5 months in. He's looking like a main event player. Probably one of my top 4 guys at the moment. And I'm super happy with that match. That was really good. We then go into a 71C+ angle. We have New Legacy shown backstage in a dark corner. And they're likely going over some sort of game plan for tonight. Of course, Jay Cord taking on Scout later on. No. Let's complete that. We're going to give Jay Cord a new gimmick. He's going to be an egomaniac. He was a blue collar, but his rating on that was poor. So I've gone for egomaniac, which I think is very fitting of both of them, really, both him and Greg. And it's got an initial rating of great, so hopefully that'll help with the match tonight. We then go into a 77B. In a decent match, Rocky Golden and Bulldozer Brandon Smith defeated the Latino Kings in 8:15 when Rocky Golden defeated Rudy Velasquez by a pinfall with a Rocky Road. And as you'd expect, Rocky carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. We also have Hector Galindo there improving in Rumble skills. And finally, Bulldozer and Rocky have gotten a tag team victory over the Latino Kings. Of course, Rocky taking Brandon Smith under his wing, under the Ace's wing, as you can see from the storyline there. Moving on to an 80B. Having just picked up the victory, Golden and Bulldozer go out into the crowd and celebrate with their people, basically the fans. It's a pretty good rating. They were both rated on overness for that one as well. So I'm hoping that's really going to help Brandon Smith there. The next match gets a 76B-, 1 point off a B. A little bit disappointing, but I guess it's kind of understandable. In about they had superb wrestling and good heat. Scout defeated Jay Cord in 2020 by submission with a special force. And basically, I'm pretty sure I put it in the Road Agents. Yeah. I don't know why that hasn't come up. I might have accidentally deleted the botched interference. But yeah, the thought process behind this was that, they were discussing something earlier in the night. And basically Greg Gage was going to come out, attack Scout, run an interference, and then have Jay Cord pick up the win. However, in theory, Jay Cord accidentally got hit by Greg Gage, and then, that essentially cost him the match as the referee, found his way back to his feet, and Scout tapped him out. And we also have Scout improving in performance skills there. Both of these guys getting an 83 in-ring performance. So in theory, that should probably be a bit higher. The storyline had low heat and obviously a lack of association for the storyline. We then go into a 98 A-star angle from Ricky Dale Johnson, and he says that his career is winding down, but with a win here tonight against Brian Vesey, he feels that he will be deserving of a world heavyweight title shot. And you would have to kind of agree. However, he's not the one that makes number one contenders, and I think that's more up to the champion if, whoever wins the main event is willing to do that. Anyway, moving on to their match. Gets an 80B, which is a very solid rating considering it only went for 11 minutes. In about they had fantastic heat and good wrestling. Ricky Dale Johnson defeated Brian Vesey in 10:53 by pinfall with a Southern Justice. Yeah, very happy with that one, to be honest. As you can see, the in-ring performances were quite lower than the rating, so you've pulled off a pretty good match. Vesey with a 73 and RDJ with a 63. We then move into a 92A spectacular over-the-top entrance for our World Heavyweight Champion, Aaron Andrews. And the big match for the World Heavyweight title is next. I hope we get a good rating. Come on. Yes! Come on! It did it. Actually did it. 95 A-star for our main event. In an exceptional match, Aaron Andrews defeated Sammy Back in 30 minutes and 1 second by pinfall with a flying body press. Aaron Andrews makes defense number 4 of his World Heavyweight title. And luckily, Aaron Andrews and Sammy Back have pretty good chemistry, which obviously carried them up to a 95 A-star. And it's the best match we've ever had. That's for sure. Obviously, the one earlier in the night between Peak and Taylor was very high. I think at that point, it was probably our highest. But yeah, I'm super happy with that. No worker improvements. Let's end the show. We get a 94A. But as you can see, there are no specific comments to be made about the show. And you might be wondering, why is that? Why did we not gain any popularity? And why did we not get penalised? Well, that is because we have actually dropped down a cult. Literally, I think it was a day or two after the last episode, we dropped down a cult. And yeah, for the next 6 months, we're in a cooldown period. We can't. I don't think we can gain or lose any popularity, so that's going to be interesting. But again, I guess we're sort of seeing a proper reflection of the show in its entirety. Getting a 94A as our overall show rating, I think, is pretty incredible, to be honest. And I think we have to go with Aaron Andrews, Sammy Back, and I think we'll go with Rocky Golden as well because he's a little bit upset. And I'm just going to give them all hugs because it's our best ever event, best ever matches we've had. And I think ultimately there was quite a few good storylines there that have played out. And yeah, I'm super happy. 94A. And we're only, 5 months into the series? Very good. Very good. I guess, in a way, it just goes to show that if I had improved all of the production values, we would probably be... I would say we'd be winning the national battles against SWF and US Pro. Anyway. The pay-per-view buy rate gets a 0.60, which is, I think, our highest, or it might be joint highest with Malice in Wonderland. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, we've got Rocky Golden, and he believes Bart Biggins does not connect with the fans, and we should probably write him off. Well, I tend to agree with you there, Rocky, because Bart is a bit of a jobber for us. He's actually pretty good. He's actually pretty good as a mid-card talent. But yeah, I don't really care. And here, I decided to keep the messages just to show you guys. As you can see, fall into cult size, shocked phase due to falling for a few weeks up to 1 month. Yeah, so basically, for 1 month, we can't gain any popularity. And here's the cooling down period. And basically, that means for 6 months, we cannot go back up to national size. We can fall below cult, but we can't go back up to national. Albeit we're not going to be falling below cult by any stretch of the imagination. Anyway, so I can get rid of all these except for Alicia Strong. So we'll delete all those. And we'll have a look at the popularity. As you can see, we're now 64 importance in Southwest, Mid-Atlantic, and the Great Lakes as well. Hence why we have dropped down. Like I said, I've said it for a long time. It's inevitable. It was inevitable. It was going to happen at some stage. I didn't think it would happen after the last episode. But as you can see, the wrestling industry is still falling. Now, I don't think if that was much higher, I think it would be alright. But anyway, let's have a look at the titles. Good to see the mid-card title, the international title, being up to a maximum of 71C+. I might make that a floating title. I just like having floating titles for the mid-card belt. Really good to see the World Heavyweight back up to a 90A prestige. Of course, it was I think it was about 80... Was 87? From the last pay-per-view? I think it was 87. And obviously, the World Tag Team titles is at 70C+, but they haven't been defended in a little while. Yeah, good to see. We've also made another 390,000 profit from last month. And that's worth noting that, as you can see, the pay-per-view revenue is a little bit lower because we have dropped down a cult. And the ticket sales, if you realise the attendance was only 21,000 for the last pay-per-view, as opposed to, I think, about 29,000 the pay-per-view before that. So it's dropped down a little bit, and obviously that's going to affect us a little bit. But I guess in a way, it doesn't really seem like it either. And like I said, the MISC cost has also gone down, sort of matching up with the pay-per-view revenue there. So in a way, that's also a pretty good thing. I just want to have a quick look. Got to look at it again. 94A for a pay-per-view already. If you go back, I think Malice in Wonderland. Yeah. So Malice in Wonderland was a 0.69, which is actually quite massive considering, what we just got then, to be honest. Because, yeah, it's 0.09 of buy rates. So, yeah. Anyway, that is going to wrap this episode up, guys. Once we get all of the women into the division, I will obviously do a bit of a roster review after a certain TV taping. or a TV show. So that'll be in the future. We'll go over all the women involved. Obviously, you saw 4 of them tonight. Looking forward to using them and trying to get them over with the future shows. Apart from that, guys, if you could drop a like on the video, it'd be much appreciated. It's going to wrap this one up. If you could hit the notification bell and turn the notifications on, that'll keep you up to date with all these episodes in the future. And as always, guys, apart from that, take it easy and goodbye.